What is going on, everybody? So today we're going to have a little discussion about something that has riddled the video game world in despair and sadness, and that is online-only games. Most importantly, games that have been plagued with de novo, or some kind of scheduled update that requires you to go back into the internet before playing your game if you're on a plane, in the train, or whatever. Since handheld gaming is on the rise, I feel like this discussion is more important than ever before. With the recent Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on Steam, it actually requires a constant active internet connection, and I don't really see a lot of people making a big deal out of this. It's really a shame that console gaming is in the main spotlight, because PC gaming gets away with stuff like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, where you need an internet connection to play a remake of a classic skateboarding game. It isn't even a multiplayer game, and I heard for the Steam Deck, the online service isn't even working for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. So with those facts, I see this as an absolute loss for handheld PC gaming, especially if you want a game on any kind of platform like Epic Game Store, Steam, EA, anything like that. And gaming handheld anywhere you want at any time is just a pipe dream. And to actually play games that you truly want to play, you'll have to play the third-party versions, which is what I'm doing. I bought every single game that I'm currently playing, but I'm not playing the actual purchased download. Because on a system like the ROG Ally, which I can bring anywhere because it's small enough, I truly want it to be fully handheld. And in the past 4 months, I've been having a spectacular time because Windows gives you that opportunity to play third-party or offline versions of those titles. I'm currently playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider and all of the Need for Speed games, because on the Steam Deck you're required to sign into that EA launcher every single time you want to play a Need for Speed game, God forbid. So I just wanted to know how your experiences personally are with these online-only titles, especially if you have a handheld like Steam Deck or ROG Ally. I mean, if you have a system like ROG Ally, most likely you'll be able to find different means to play the game if it constantly requires you to sign into some kind of launcher. I just think this is extremely unfortunate for games like this and practices like this to be on the rise when handheld PCs are also on the rise. This is a video I had hesitation of making because I'm not sure if everyone is going through these kind of issues, but I run into these issues all the time where I'm trying to get into my game if I'm on some kind of long ass road trip, and then my Steam Deck is just caught in some kind of update hell with like 10 different titles. Half of those titles I won't even be able to play because they're stuck like 1 kilobyte into the update. So I can't play the game until I finish the update, which usually enables me to just use my hotspot on my cell phone. But even so, some hotspots are not deemed secure enough to start your game after it's used the data and updated, like with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I recently played the offline version only of after completing 70% of the game. For some reason, a single player title like that and a hotspot just doesn't seem to work with each other to make a secure enough connection to start playing the game after you update. For some reason, it just says you have to be connected to the internet in order to start this for the first time. That message will literally trigger me for the rest of my life. I swear, I'm just gonna go into Valve's offices or whatever developing studio like the Punisher, and my last words would be, "Sorry, in order to speak for the first time, you'll need to be connected to a secure internet connection." It's really just completely ruining my time with the Steam platform. I know I've talked about this a lot, but online-only titles specifically are just driving me insane. And since I'm going digital only for the past year and a half, I'm starting to see this problem surge throughout my gaming experience. And I just wish it was a little different. I wish that we can just connect to the internet and the Steam platform can just trust us. Even if we disconnect the micro SD card, there's still some kind of certificate in the system itself that remembers which games you played recently. But if you eject a micro SD card from the ROG Ally or Steam Deck, it sees that as just you changing the hard drive, which makes sense. But if there was just some kind of certificate that lasted a lot longer, that expired after a certain time, which you have to certify again after about 2 weeks, at least like they advertised, then playing handheld PC games with a micro SD card would be more justifiable. But for now, playing with a micro SD card requires, once you put in another tiny little SD card into your ROG Ally or Steam Deck, you're going to have to verify all the games on that micro SD card. So if you have a 1 terabyte, may the Lord help you, because you're going to have to verify about 10 to 20 even 30 games on that one micro SD card, especially if you have more modern titles. And I see this as a loss for handheld PC gaming. I really hope they come up with some kind of better certification to make you actually feel like you own your own games. But that's a different problem entirely. Just being able to play the game while switching to another micro SD card would be nice. I would like just to not worry or have anxiety. I actually have almost anxiety attacks before placing another micro SD card into my Steam Deck because first of all, there's going to be a ton of shader cache and a gigaton of updates every time I just try to play any kind of modern title like Control, Ghost Recon Wildlands, or any other title that has third-party launchers that are required to verify before you play. I just see this as something that can be fixed if the PC gaming industry just cared about handheld PC gamers specifically more. And with updates just ruining games like with Sonic Frontiers, it's starting to look more and more helpless for Windows handheld PC gamers specifically. You have all these updates, all these verifications all the time, and I'm starting to just not know what to do or what to tell anybody if they need some sort of resolution for this problem. Now, I've been working with Windows for a very long time, so there are workarounds that I have found for things that most people cannot find workarounds for. And since I am in software engineering and computer science, all that stuff, figuring out solutions to global issues with PCs is what I do. It's actually my life. So even if I wanted to stop making videos about this, or even if I'm in some kind of vacation, I will have thoughts and solutions that will still go up, like I'm doing right now. Because honestly, PC gaming is something that intrigues me, but sometimes it worries me just as much. And now specifically with handheld PC gaming, I worry that there will never be a day where the owner of that ROG Ally 2 or 3 or Steam Deck 4 or 5 will feel safe with no internet connection and truly being on the go as advertised. Right now, I'm starting to believe those articles that say the Steam Deck and ROG Ally are not fit for purpose unless you pull some kind of sketchy strings like I do to play those games in offline mode, the games that I purchased for thousands upon thousands of dollars, but playing the offline version anyway is the sad reality that I have to face if I want to truly enjoy my games on the go. And when it comes to Steam Deck, it really doesn't support that many third-party games. And you're going to have to pull even more strings in order to get the game that you want to work properly. But even so, with SteamOS updating consistently, it's going to be harder and harder to rely on the Steam Deck specifically to play those games in offline or third-party mode, in third-party or offline mode. And I think the fact that the Steam Deck was saw as the savior of the handheld PC gaming space, and now it just is the main reason why I dread connecting to the internet or playing in offline mode on my Steam Deck. And it's the main reason why I just do not play on my Steam Deck. But I know the Steam Deck specifically has more solid ways to verify your games, but every time I disconnect the micro SD card, unless that SD card is just busted and is stuck in some kind of infinite download loop where the certificate just doesn't expire, like what happened with my second 1 terabyte SD card with my Steam Deck and is currently my only SD card with my Steam Deck. Unless you run into that kind of wild glitch that prevents the certificate in the micro SD card from expiring because it just cannot update or replace files, then you're most likely going to have to verify your games every time you place your micro SD card back in your Steam Deck. And in my case, the ROG Ally does that just as much, if not even more, than the Steam Deck does, but it has a lot more workarounds than Linux or SteamOS, or just a lot more available workarounds from what I've seen. But yeah, let me know what you think about online-only games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 that just recently came out that prevent people from playing the single-player title offline. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. Later.